Hello everyone, Miss Camila speaking to you. The purpose of this video is to show the differences in the past continuous in active and passive form. So we're going to start with past continuous active. What does it mean that a sentence is active? It means that the focus is on the subject. The subject could be a person or an object doing an action. So it could be, for example, a person, an animal, or an object that is performing an action, is doing something. And there are different uses that are part of the past continuous. One of them is interrupted actions in the past. And here we have three examples. The first one says, I was watching TV when she called. You were watching TV and at the same time, someone called. Okay, so there you have an interrupted action. When the phone rang, she was chatting with her friends. And the last example, you were not listening to me when I told you to turn the TV off. As you can see, and as we have studied, the structure is fairly easy. All you need is the subject followed by the verb to be in the past, which can be was, were, and then the verb with an ing. I was watching, she was chatting, you were not listening. Another use is for actions in a specific time in the past. For example, last night at 6 p.m., I was eating dinner. I was sitting at my desk yesterday at this time, and last Tuesday I was dancing. So here we have expressions that are related to the past. For example, last night, yesterday at this time, and last Tuesday that are related to a specific time in the past. Therefore, we will need to use the past continuous. Another use is parallel actions, when you have two actions happening at the same time. For those two actions, we're going to use the past continuous. So, example number one, I was studying while he was making dinner. There we have two actions that were happening simultaneously. You were studying, and at the same time, someone else was making dinner. Example number two, I wasn't paying attention while the teacher was explaining the contents. So the teacher was doing something while you were doing something else. And the third example is Thomas wasn't working and I wasn't studying either. So the two of you were together, Thomas and you, and Thomas wasn't working at the same time that you were not studying. So, how do we connect these two sentences? We use the word while, as you can see in the three examples. Another use is annoying actions in the past. Annoying actions are things that someone else does that you don't like. For example, she was always teasing me. 2. They were constantly arguing about different topics. And 3. He was always calling me names. So here we have a repeated behavior that was annoying to you. And for those, we can use adverbs of frequency that go after was or were. Remember that adverbs of frequency are always, never, sometimes, barely, often, or regularly, and they explain how many times or how regularly you do something. Now, about the past continuous in passive form. When do we use it? We use it when the focus is on the action and not on who or what is performing the action, but who is receiving the action. For example, an email was being written by my friend. Tomatoes were being grown by the farmers. Me and my friends were being told what to do. In these three examples, the email is not doing anything, but is being written. Tomatoes are not doing anything, but are receiving the action of being grown by farmers. And me and my friends are not doing anything, we're just listening to what people are telling us. And about the structure, you use the verb to be in the past, was, were, plus being, plus the verb in participle. So that is was being written, were being grown, were being told. Now, let's practice. These exercises were taken from the worksheet that you had to complete a couple of weeks ago. And the first example says, I didn't have my car, it fixed by the mechanic. So here you have to ask yourself, was the car doing an action or receiving an action? In this case, as it says by the mechanic, we know that he was receiving the action. Therefore, we use the passive structure. It was being fixed by the mechanic. Practice number 2. People inform about what to do regarding to the virus. So here you need to ask yourself, were people doing something or were they receiving an action? In this case, someone else was telling them what to do. So the correct answer would be were being informed. As they were not doing an action, they were receiving information about something. Number 3, Paul and I buy new clothes. So, were Paul and I doing an action or receiving an action? In this case, they were doing an action. They were buying new clothes when we realized that the other department store sell the same things half price. Was the store doing or receiving an action? The store was doing something. They were selling the same things half a price. So I hope that this was very enlightening for you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask More Claudio or I if you have any questions. Thank you.